So I have been here in this field of coaching industry for the last 4 to 5 years, and I have learned a lot of things by solving the doubts of the students. Alright, so more than my own learning about the subject English literature, I learned from interacting from the student. That is one of the reasons why I always try to get in touch with the students on personal level. Even the students who are in our batch, I personally talk to them on WhatsApp, on calls, on Zoom meeting, and interact with them. So after interacting with hundreds of students, or you can say with 4 to 5 years of experience, I learned a lot of things. And one of the important things that I learned is that British literature is the most important subject in the whole English literature. Alright, so in this video I will share with you the 4 right steps to study British literature. So do not forget to watch this video till the end. Beginning with the very first step is that you should study British history before studying British literature. Okay, so very first thing is to learn the history of Britain. So remember that Anglo-Saxon came in 450 AD, then came Norman Conquest 1066, then first Magna Carta 1215, birth of Chaucer 1343, you can say Peasant Revolt 1381, 1415 Battle of Agincourt. So right from the beginning of the age of Anglo-Saxon to the age of postmodernism, you must know everything chronologically. You must know the years of ages like modernism. Modernism came in 1910, and then Rabindranath Tagore 1913 Nobel Prize. A world war began in 1914 to 1918, and then Wasteland published in 1922. You can say in 1930. Hitler came, 1939, World War II begins, and from 1939 you can say, or 1945 at the end of the World War II, postmodernism began. So this is the first and important step. You must know the history before knowing the literature. You have to learn the important years. You can use any trick. For example, my birthday comes on 29th. So from here I have learned that Thomas Mann won the Nobel Prize in the year 1929. So do anything to remember the years. Make a list of all the years and remember it. So now let's quickly get on to the second step, and that is to have the knowledge of all the writers and the works associated with them. It doesn't matter if you know the summary of the work or not. The second step is to only remember the titles and the works associated with the authors. In our British literature booklet that we provide to the students, we have focused more on mentioning the works and writers first. Always there are 4 to 5 questions where they ask which work is associated with which writer. And let's take an example of G.B. Shaw. Okay, so I only know the plays of 2-3 plays of G.B. Shaw. Okay, I don't have understanding of all his 20 plus works, but I remember the titles of all his 20 works. At least I have been through it a couple of times, so that if there is any question in the examination, I can look at the option and I can pick the right option just by going through the titles of the works. So you don't have to go through the summaries of all the works mentioned of all these writers. Simply first remember all the titles and the works associated with the writers. Alright, so let's move on to our third step, and which is to go through the summaries alone. I'm talking about the summaries of minor writers. For example, UGC-NET will never ask in-depth questions from the works such as the works of Chaucer, except Canterbury Tales. Summaries will do the work of Chaucer's. They always ask basic details from the works of Chaucer. So remember the summaries of the works like the Book of Touches, Parliament of Fowls, The Legend of Good Women, and so on. Only go through the summaries of the minor works, minor writers of British literature. In every age you will find someone. For example, Ben Jonson, summaries of Ben Jonson's plays will do the work. You don't have to go through in-depth study of Ben Jonson's, but you cannot do the same for Shakespeare. They always ask question in depth from Shakespeare. Try to cover the summaries of those minor works, minor writers by going through the previous year question. The same goes for Age of Modernism. We know that H.G. Wells is not a big writer, he's a minor writer. So go through the works of H.G. Wells, The Invisible Man, Time Machine, all of his works. Summaries will do the work, but it is not same for Virginia Woolf of the same modernism age. You have to go through the details of the works of Virginia Woolf, except a few works of her, but all the remaining works of Virginia Woolf you have to go to the depth. But try to first complete the summaries of the minor writers of minor works at least. Again, to understand what all are the minor works and what all are the major works, you can go through the website limitlessliterature.com, and we have covered almost 14 to 15 years of works in such format, in topic wise format, that will be very helpful in your preparation. And now, after understanding the first 3 steps, the last step is the 4th one, which is to prepare the important works of British literature. You have to do the in-depth analysis, at least go through the important works in detail. Again, in every age you will find the important works. For example, we have Shakespeare. You don't have to study all his 34 to 35 plays, but his 8 to 9 plays are very important. For instance, Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, Macbeth, these all are the 4 tragedies that you must be knowing in depth, because they ask the question in depth from these 4 tragedies. And I always suggest movies for important works, because it helps in understanding the work and the plot, the characters for a longer period of time. We have a separate booklet on British literature important works and British literature important poems in our study material. We have only mentioned here the important works that require in-depth study. You can save weeks and months by placing the order of our material from our official website limitlessliterature.com. But again, if you want to prepare by yourself, these are the 4 steps that you must remember. The very first step is to learn all the years, learn the British history before British literature, and then go on to learn the works, only the titles and the writers. At least learn the titles, the second step. The third step is to learn the summaries, and at last we have the 4th step, that is to go on to study the important works in depth. Alright, so this is what all I have to share in this video. I hope you found the video worth your time. That's it for this video. Subscribe to this channel for more such updates. Thank you.